Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Pallas in the second house in the natal chart. Now, one that has Pallas in the second house in the chart, well, Pallas can be connected with how one may resolve dilemmas. It could be done, given that we're talking about the second house, through money, person's financial acumen or ability to make money. It could be through the formulation of some financial plan. It may be through matters like with banking or through buying and selling. This person may be very shrewd in terms of buying things at a very cheap price, being very frugal on how they spend, but then being able to sell something at a much higher rate. It could be a person that really, when it comes to money, they basically know their way around. It could be a person also that may solve issues and dilemmas through really just having that good self-esteem and really in self-worth and being and really at this time, and maybe through matters with their possessions as well. I mean, the second house is also connected with food we enjoy and like to indulge in. Like, so it could be through maybe it's feeling better through the food, certain foods that are eaten that you might enjoy, or in some cases, let's say that you have this like in Pisces. Say you have Pallas in Pisces in the second house. It could be through the self-sacrificing of those things of food you may enjoy. It could be through the self-sacrificing of possessions, having maybe to give something away, well, to some degree, maybe for some compensation. But you understand what I'm saying. This is about too. I mean, Pallas in astrology can be connected with legalities and legal matters. Now, given we're talking about the second house of money, this may have more of a monetary impact on the person, affects one's financial status or situation more so than most, but it could sometimes be for the better, and a lot of it can be dependent and predicated on aspects that makes the points in one's chart. It might also, I mean, a positive, a sextile trine to Jupiter might be very auspicious as an example, but you look at, it could also be where legalities and legal situations might also have a strong impact on one's possessions, their resources, and maybe even how they feel about themselves. There may be legal matters that the person gets embroiled in that are pertaining to money, that are of a money nature, whether the person may owe something or vice versa. And also, too, the Pallas in astrology can be connected with disputes and quarrels. This could be a person that might be become involved, embroiled in matters over contentious situations over their resources, their assets. It could be even over the things that they value. I mean, say it's in Pisces, it could be spiritual values, or let's say, for example, another case in point being, let's say that it's in Scorpio. It could be matters like with astrology, the occult, supernatural. It could be, I mean, a lot of it again is dependent on the sign that it's in. And also, there could be arguments over the self-worth or how you feel about yourself, or maybe the disputes that take place and transpire might have a stronger impact on how you feel about yourself, your self-worth and self-esteem, more so than the average person. Now, also, we're talking about Pallas in astrology. This could be connected with, the concepts that we put our attention on and in focus. And given that this is the second house, this could be about a focus and attention on concepts that are associated with assets, with what we value, monetary situations, how to maybe making money. Say if you have this in Aquarius, it could be about the formulation of ingenious money-making ideas, and you could have a very good idea and conception about maybe the value of things and about things, how items appreciate or depreciate as well. So those are some ways this can manifest and pan out. Now we're talking about a Pallas in astrology. They can also be associated with debilitations that one may succumb to due to a depleted or diminished immune system. Now, given that this is in the second house again, money, this is something, these issues, if one has to deal with them, might impact the person's monetary situation more so than average, in their resources and how the person may feel about themselves. It could be, something where this is a person, it can affect that ability perhaps to make money more so than the average person, because of course when you're talking about depleted immune system, I'm sure lethargy and weakness in general can come in, and you're also talking about things that are problematic, such as, like, say if this is in Capricorn, you could have issues like with the bones, the joints, the knees, and it might make you, somewhat being debilitated. You're in a situation where it's harder to do certain things. Or in Gemini, there might be some issues that with the arms or the hands or the fingers that might cause some, shoulder pain or what have you, that might impact your ability to do certain things and making money, because a lot of things, of course, jobs entail work with the hands and the arms. So anyway, now, also, too, Pallas in astrology can be associated with tough choices that one may make in conjunction with one's relationships that are male. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like a relationship situation or a romantic significant other situation, but it could all just simply be a male person that is dominant in one's life scheme. Now, given that we're talking about Pallas, and this is the second house, this could be tough choices that come down to how this person might affect you monetarily, the possessions maybe that this person may be able to maybe give to you, or maybe done with a little bit more obstinacy, because you are talking about the second house in astrology, and the second house, of course, corresponds with Taurus. It could be matters pertaining to assets, and how this person might make you feel about yourself. If you're trying to eradicate a connection with a dominant male person in your life, it might be where you might eliminate this person from your life and say you don't want to be you, if this person is having a negative or adverse effect on how you feel about yourself. So those are some things to look at. And remember that the second house is also about the food that we may indulge in, like to enjoy. So if this is a person that's been staying with you or something, and you feel they've been not hoarding, but they've been taking advantage of you, eating that food sometimes that you may enjoy, and you're not getting compensated for it, of course, that's isolated, but that could still be, one way that this could manifest. So anyway, also, when we're talking about Pallas in astrology, it can be connected with the strategy that one may employ to traverse uncharted territory. And given that we're talking about, again, it's a second house, it can be connected, of course, with money is really the main thing that this is associated with, I would say. It could be going to a place where you think you would benefit more financially. You're going to look at matters with buying and selling. If you're somebody that does a lot of buying and selling, it could be that place where you think you can buy things at exceptionally cheap price and sell it at a much higher price, and it may be very monetary related wherever you may go, and also how you can gain in terms of your possessions and your resources as well. And if you're somebody that is, you say you're limited in terms of like your transportation ability, it might be a place that you may go where they have places to eat, where they have food that you like to enjoy and like to indulge in, because again, the second house can be connected with that. Now, Pallas in astrology can also be connected with the understanding and of patterns. So naturally, obviously, this being the second house, this could be a person that could be very proficient in the art of understanding, comprehending financial monetary patterns. This could be somebody that could be very astute as like a financial analyst, I would think, would be one thing, or even somebody that works like with stocks, a stockbroker. This could be Also, and it really, and also it could be a person that might have a good understanding, conception of patterns of people's self-worth and how they feel about themselves. What makes the things that are consistent with making a person feel good about themselves, or maybe they don't, or things that happen that make them not feel so good about themselves and make them feel a little bit despondent or down and out or what have you. Now, also, keep in mind that Pallas is also associated with kidneys. I mean, the fact is, well, of course, again, not to be overly redundant, but being the second house, this is a situation. If somebody does have any kidney issues or dilemmas, it might impact them more financially, more so than the average person. I don't know if kidneys actually, if you have, I guess, a kidney transplant, if that's possible, if that actually takes place. I'm not knowledgeable enough about kidneys to say that, but if a kidney transplant or replacement would take place, say you have Pallas and Scorpio in your natal chart, it could be some in the second house. That could be somebody that if they have any kidney issues, it might be like a transplant if that is attainable, if that is well, a replacement maybe is the proper word, because Scorpio, of course, can be connected with transformation. So you understand what I'm saying, or say if Pluto is involved somehow, that could be another example. And say, and it could be, I mean, also, I mean, another example, I mean, let's say if you have Pallas and Capricorn in the second house, this could be somebody that might be, going back to the patterns and understanding of patterns, it could be somebody that might be able to see depression and despondency patterns with that in oneself esteem and how it impacts them. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.